Hey guys, what's up? It's your leading lady Dar coming to see you, talking to you a little bit tonight. Let's talk about some relationships. Relationships with yourself, relationship with others. Let's talk about it. Let's put it on the table tonight, okay? So I hope everyone is well. If not, I will keep you in my prayers. But definitely, let's talk about some relationships, okay? So let's start out with you. What's your relationship like with yourself? Do you even have a relationship with yourself? Do you need to be rescued from a relationship you're in? Do you need to be rescued from the relationship with yourself? Well, let's talk about it. Relationships are defined as two people. Could be more than one, but I mean, it could be more than two. But relationships, one-on-one relationships, it means you can have a relationship with your children, you can have a relationship with your spouse, you can have a relationship with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Relationships you build when you're working with people. You can have all sorts of relationships. But the ideal relationship is one where you can communicate. And so many of us have a problem knowing how to communicate. There's many ways of communicating. We communicate through body language. We communicate when we're not even speaking. We communicate in so many different ways, but one of the effective ways of communicating is verbally. A lot of us now, we all talk with our hands, body gestures, even down to our postures. But the most effective way is to communicate. You can't get nowhere without communicating. And if you are a person, you don't have to be good with words. You just have to know how to express how you feel so others can understand you and know where you're coming from. And so many of us, we walk around on eggshells because we don't want to offend other people. We walk around so bottled up inside, keep so many feelings and emotions bottled up inside because one, we're afraid of hurting someone else. We're afraid of offending someone else. All the while, we have our feelings going like a roller coaster. Our emotions are all out of whack. We losing appetites, we're losing sleep because we can't get these feelings out. We can't express them. Sometimes we can't express them because, of course, we're thinking about other people. And then, too, sometimes you don't realize the importance of getting it out. And sometimes we want to just lash and just say the first thing that comes to our mind, and we can't. So some of us are maturing our thinking, and some of us hold on to it for a minute until the right time, because God always presents you with the right time to be able to express how you feel. But let's just say this. You're in a relationship with your boo, and guess what? Your boo don't know how to communicate. Okay? Well, do you know how to communicate? So what do you do when you feel like you need to get something off your chest and you're afraid of expressing this to your boo? She may have a high temper. She might not have any patience with anything. She might not even want to discuss how you feel because she might have the attitude and the mindset that is all about her and not about you. So what do you do? Or you may have a man who feel like he got to be in control, that he know it all. What you say don't matter. So what do you do in a case like that? Yeah, we're going to say, okay, most of the older people say, or most people, spiritual people will say, oh, you got to pray about that, darling. You pray about that. You sure can, as you should, but you also need to find a way to communicate with that individual, or otherwise you're going to lose sleep. You may lose weight. You may stand a chance of even losing relationships with other people because now you've become toxic. You're toxic now because you got all this stuff going on up inside of you. One, you having these feelings that you can't even express, and then secondly, you mad at this individual. And how many of you know that when you don't forgive, that forgiveness will make you sick? So if you're not forgiving, you got that going on inside of you. You got these emotions going on inside of you. You feeling away, right? You feeling away, right? Okay. So now your patience is short. So now you lashing out at Mary Sue over here. You lashing out at your boss. Now you starting to ruin relationships. So guess what? Let's bring it all back. It's about you, and it's going to always be about you. So take care of you. Sometimes you got to rescue your own self. And rescuing your own self means, okay, if you got to sit down and write some things out, get it off your chest. Don't be walking around holding all that stuff bottled up inside, because it will make you sick. Okay? You don't want to be sick. You too fine. You too gorgeous to be walking around all sick, all back hurting, stomach hurting, your head hurting. You too cute for all that. So come on, express how you feel. Learn how to express how you feel. One, if you're in a relationship, whether it's your child, it's your mother, it's your father, learn their language. Learn how they best are able to receive, whether it's constructive criticism, whether it's just a simple conversation, because some of us just don't even know how, and it's sad to say. But needless to say, we need to express how we feel. So come on, boo, get it off your chest. You don't always have to say, yeah, I need to talk to you, or we need to have a talk. Or you get that cell phone and you start texting, oh, we need to have a talk tonight. That runs some people away. That scares people, But real women and real men in any type of relationship that you have would be willing to sit down and have a conversation, because guess what? That relationship could be on the line. So what you want to do is, it might be dinner time. It might be breakfast time. Sometimes you got to come down to their level. And it ain't always good coming down to their level, because you feel like, you know what, I'm better than this. And yes, you probably are. But to get your point across, because even in heated conversations, people like to go toe to toe. And you don't always have to do that. It's time out. You got to push yourself away from the table. It's time out for all that arguing, all that bickering. It's about maintaining healthy relationships. Because once again, as I said, it's about you, right? It's about your health. It's about your well-being, mentally, physically, emotionally. It's about you getting right. So sometimes we got to rescue ourselves. Okay, so you got Jimmy Dean over here. He got some issues going on. We're in a relationship. Jimmy Dean got some issues going on. But Jimmy Dean don't want to express it, because Jimmy Dean from way back when was always hushed and always told, you don't matter, or what you said don't matter. You a child. You know how parents used to do back in the day. You're a child. You're to be seen, not to be heard, and yada, yada, yada. But lo and behold, those feelings, those feelings are pushed down. You're smothered down. And these young women and young men, we go through life. Little kids, I'm sorry, not young women and young men. But as little kids, they go through life. They experience certain issues. They watch their parents go through things. So those feelings and emotions are developing, and they grow up into teens, and young adults, not knowing how to express themselves. So, yep, this generation here that's raising children, they feel like, shut up, almost similar to what our parents taught us back in the day, that what you feel don't matter. But it does matter. Relationships are contingent upon being able to express oneself. You gotta know how. And if you don't know how to verbally say it, write it down on a piece of paper. Write it on a sticky note. Text it. I really don't always say, I really have gotten away from texting so much important, so much meaningful stuff, because texts can always be misconstrued, and a lot of times the way you meant it might not be the way that the person received it. So it's always best to have a one-on-one with these individuals. Relationships matter. They say lives matter. Yes, lives does matter, but relationships matter. So we have children out here, we have parents out here, and not just because I don't have my parents around, but for those of you who do, our parents may have taken us through a lot back in the day. They may still be taking us through some things, but they're your parents. You only get one. You get one mother and you get one father. So cherish those relationships. Work on those relationships. Yes, it is about you. So whatever it is that you're dealing with that parent, with that child, with that spouse, let's figure it out. Because guess what? They say poppy collar, poppy collar. It's about me. Just like it's about you. Okay? So what I want you to do, I always say, yep, walk in them shoes is so hard sometimes. It's easier said than done. I know. So relationships need to be healthy in order for them to grow. But know this one thing. All relationships aren't healthy. And if you hang in there and you learn each other's ways and you learn how to effectively communicate, that relationship will begin to grow and prosper. And you can look back and be like, damn, that's where we was. Your son be able to come and give you that hug, be able to sit down and talk to you. That daughter, the mother and daughter relationships, they're the toughest sometimes. So we gotta hold those relationships very sacred. In other words, those relationships are meaningful. It can be the attack of the enemy. It could just be a child that's just blatantly disrespectful. It could just be a number of different things. It could be the parents that are not parenting well, but we have to hold on. We have to continue to push. And push means pray until something happens. Yep. Pray until something happens. If you don't know how to get those words, to utter those words that's in your heart, ooh, baby, you better pray until something happens. You better pray. So I'm just coming to you tonight just to share a little bit of that tea about relationships. And I hope you enjoyed this channel. You enjoyed this channel. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, because your girl, leading Lady Dar, will be back to give you more. Have a good one.